Welcome, Dr. Beverly Philip, the President of the American Society of Anesthesiologists. I'm so honored, and it's a pleasure to have you here today. For those of us who may not know you very well, can you please give me a brief description about yourself?
So, thank you. And this is fun being with you today. I am in my career life. I'm Professor of Anesthesia at Harvard. I am the founding director of the day surgery program there. And I've had a wonderful career throughout ambulatory anesthesia, nationally, internationally, and of course, in ASA, over a number of significant committee chair positions. I was vice president for scientific affairs for ASA for 5 years, and after that was elected into the president track, and this is my year.
You do have a very, very accomplished career. When you first started out in anesthesia, did you always know you wanted to pursue an academic career?
Absolutely not. That was not it at all. Anesthesiology was one of the really popular rotations because it had a reputation, and correctly, for having amazing teachers. And I went on the rotation, and they were terrific. I was actually going to be an ENT surgeon, and I had an in on a really good program. It's a competitive one, but I was good. But anesthesiology was just so much more fun. What I saw with these teachers was that this is upstate New York, but if you went to their house for dinner, they could talk about something that wasn't just medicine. So I went for my anesthesiology training, and I just went in it because I liked anesthesia. In retrospect, I like doing. I like the knowledge, and I like the doing combination. But the professor who taught me, pushed me into leadership positions. So after I finished my residency, I did OB anesthesia for a couple of years. And then the hospital I was in was going to be part of a big merger. And it was immediately obvious to me that that great system we had that was so good for patient care was not going to fly without an organized process. So I did what research I could, of which there was nothing to do pretty much because there were scatterings of things around the US at that point. And I went to my chair, who let me set up the day surgery program. There was an amazing good nurse leader to partner with. And 2 years later, the payment system changed to favor ambulatory surgery, inpatient and outpatient. And I had a system up and running when it hit. But this is sort of me, where other people see it's a pain and a hassle. I tend to see opportunities where there are challenges. As I became aware that I was doing that, I would do it more intentionally. So once I was doing ambulatory, and I was a very early leader in the field, then people said, well, we have companies who do drugs. So I've researched pretty much all the drugs that are on the market now, pretty much all of them, which led to a high-end academic career. But I love the organizational stuff much better. So I've been working my way through contributing to a whole bunch of ambulatory-related organizations. So it's really one thing led to another. There's sort of another part of it is that people told me no all the time. They said, this isn't worth doing. You shouldn't be doing it. And I realized after a while that what I simply needed to do was ignore them. You have to have your own internal conversation about, does this interest you? And that's it. Did it look like it was going to be fun? Would I learn something? Could I gain something? Not really gain. Mostly could I learn, or would I really sort of acquire skills, acquire knowledge? And I would do it. And many of them that other people, in fact, turned down ended up being major career advances. It's just seeing opportunities instead of obstacles. And once you realize that, you can, again, do it with more intent.
Mm-hmm. That's great advice.
Yeah.
It really is. Look at life more optimistic. And that's what you're saying.
It's
Look
even
at
better.
everything as, instead of, oh, that's a challenge, or that's going to be too hard for me, is you probably break it down and it's like, okay, this is going to take this step and then this step and move forward.
I mean, it is great if you have someone to have as a either lateral or vertical mentor. I never had one because there simply wasn't anybody out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had colleagues and we sort of discussed things. I don't know if you'd call that really mentoring. I think it's collaborative work more than that. But I had maybe two people in my entire career who contributed to getting me started. One, in longer retrospect, was Professor Leroy Van Dam, who was the chair of the department where I was the resident.
Mm-hmm.
And he pushed people. This was old school. And he would demand the near impossible, but he always did it himself first.
Mm-hmm.
That was the thing. It was the leadership point of, you've got to, talk's cheap and talk impresses nobody, pretty much. You have to show that if this is something important, you believe in it enough to be there first yourself. And the other mentor I had was Bernie Wechsler. Mm-hmm. And he and a lot of the other founders understood that people can get things done so much better if they do it together. Mm-hmm. And that was a huge and valuable lesson.
What are the biggest obstacles you faced during your career?
And that gives me a pause because I tend not to see them as obstacles. Mm-hmm. Truly. If things are in my way, I will look for a way around them. Mm-hmm. So I guess that leads me immediately to the thought of, if things are too big to fight, don't bother. Mm-hmm. Don't waste your time and energy on it. So I tend to be very operational about goals. And it takes a lot of training to not get upset when you get dumped on, disrespected, whatever it is. It's all, but it's not about you personally or me personally. Mm-hmm. These interactions are about because I am a woman, or I am a young woman, or I am a whatever you are. If there were another one of the same beside you, the same thing would be happening. Mm-hmm. So it's not about you, and therefore, why should you? The best thing is to not internalize it. Say, yep, this is one of those problems. It's learning how to you do develop this internal voice that you talk with about, what is this really about? Mm-hmm. And you develop ways to cope with it.
It's been fantastic talking to you. It's been a great conversation.
My pleasure as well. It has been a great conversation. There's so much positive future available for us.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.